And I think I've been lucky because I've been able to participate in the last time, the last era, when we can make films with paper, pencil, and film.
This year, Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron is up for an Academy Award for Best Animated Film. It's going up against several heavy hitters and Elemental for an award that famously doesn't go to anime.
The Oscar goes to
Big Hero 6. Don Hall, Chris Williams, and Roy Conley.
It was a shock when Spirited Away won an Academy Award, sure, but since then, anime has pretty much lost every single time. Part of this has to do with how out of touch Academy voters are when it comes to the animation category. They tend to just vote for whatever Disney put out, because they don't actually respect the art form enough to watch any animated films.
Because animated films make up some of our most formative movie experiences as kids.
So many kids watch these movies over and over
And over and over and over and over and over.
I see some parents out there know exactly what we're talking about.
Here are
To date, 8-ish, and we'll get to that, anime have been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, and only one, Spirited Away, has won.
Oscar goes to, let's see, Spirited Away, Hayao Miyazaki.
The award is newer than you might realize. Spirited Away was actually the second film in history to win the Best Animated Feature award. And the first? Shrek.
Gosh, up until now I thought Monsters Incorporated was a documentary on the Weinsteins. But,
And it was really only made because when Beauty and the Beast got nominated for Best Feature, the Academy wanted to make sure that only real films got nominated for Oscars.
What's the secret of cows? These are all cartoons. These are all cartoons. I thought we got nominated like a real movie.
So, ignoring Spirited Away, how did the other films fare? Right now, we're going to go through the 6-ish anime films to have lost an award, as well as The Boy and the Heron, which as of yet has neither won nor lost its award, to see if they really deserve to lose that year. Now be sure to like and subscribe on this video to tell YouTube to recommend my stuff to people. Make sure to subscribe if you like what you see here. It really helps the channel out. Also, because most of these are Ghibli films, and Studio Ghibli famously cracks down on all clips from their movies, I'm going to abstain from actually showing footage. I hope you understand.
Howl's Moving Castle, Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, Wallace and Gromit in The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Wallace and Gromit in The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Nick Park and Steve Bach.
Howl's Moving Castle is by far one of the most widely beloved anime films ever. An entire generation of millennials who enjoy the company of men had their lives ruined forever when Howl first danced his way into their lives.
There you are, sweetheart. Sorry I'm late. I was looking everywhere for you.
This year, there were only 3 nominees for Best Animated Feature. While some anime fans might complain that, say, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children didn't get a Best Picture nomination, at this stage, the awards was really slim pickings. Howl's Moving Castle remains the most widely watched of these 3 films. While Wallace and Gromit is iconic and beloved, I don't really think Curse of the Were-Rabbit is even the best Wallace and Gromit film. However, it's still good. Corpse Bride, however, is not. The fact that Tim Burton's mopey attempt to live up to Henry Selick's masterwork The Night Before Christmas even got nominated stuns me. Howl's Moving Castle, however, does do a few things that work against it. For one, it's a bit messy. The second half deviates from Diana Wynne Jones's original book, becoming Miyazaki's reaction to the war in Iraq. However, the beautiful imagery, themes, and music really elevate this one. I also suspect, and this is just me basing this off of knowing Academy voters, the Academy voters were probably still upset that Miyazaki refused to accept his Oscar in person at a protest of America's activities in the Middle East.
If I should present this award on behalf of all the cowboys shot in all the John Ford westerns over the years.
So I think that feeds into why Howl's Moving Castle lost, despite being clearly the best of these films. I think Howl's Moving Castle deserved to win the Academy Award, but I also see why it lost. It would be another 8 years before another anime film got nominated. In that time, the following anime films never even got a nod by the Academy: Paprika, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, 5 centimeters per second, Ponyo, The Sky Crawlers, Redline, Afro Samurai, Summer Wars, The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time, The Secret World of Arrietty, The Children Who Chase Lost Voices, From Up on Poppy Hill, A Letter to Momo, Wolf Children, any of the Rebuild of Evangelion films, and 8 different Pokemon movies. Wait, no, Black and White had 2 movies. 9 different Pokemon movies. I'm especially miffed about Paprika. The year that film came out, Happy Feet won. And its competition were Cars and Monster House. Think about it. The Academy thought that Cars was more worthy of respect than Satoshi Kon's final masterpiece. One that, years later, would inspire the Best Picture nominee, Inception. But 2013 proved a great year for anime films. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods revitalized interest in the classic franchise. The Garden of Words showcased Makoto Shinkai's incredible talents. But one film really stands out, so much so that even the Academy had to acknowledge it, after 8 years of ignoring anime. The Wind Rises, Miyazaki's then most recent final movie. And Hayao Miyazaki is the only Japanese anime director the Academy voters know about, so of course he got nominated. And lost. Again.
The Croods, Despicable Me 2, Ernest and Celestine, Frozen, The Wind Rises.
Frozen. There we go. Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee.
Yeah, The Wind Rises was robbed. The fact that Frozen won over this complex, tragic film about ambition, the destructive consequences of followed dreams, and heartbreak is, well, it's a testament to how Academy voters only voted for the movies they bothered to watch because their kids begged them to see it. Frozen isn't a bad film by no means, but it feels outgunned by The Wind Rises here. But while in hindsight it's clear that The Wind Rises should have won, I also get why Frozen did win. It was everywhere that year. You couldn't get away from that song. But from here on out, we never saw as massive of a gap with anime films as we did previously. So that's an upside. At least every few years an anime film got nominated, except for a second gap which we'll get to later. Isao Takahata is in many ways a vastly underrated director. When people talk about Studio Ghibli, they often neglect to mention him. This is despite him making 3 of the studio's greatest films: Grave of the Fireflies, Only Yesterday, and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. In 2014, Princess Kaguya was up for an Academy Award and lost.
Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. Big Hero 6!
This is despite coming out the same year as the Lego Movie, which itself wasn't nominated. Honestly, this year was pretty packed with high-quality animated films, all of which didn't win.
That's a load of bull!
The Box Trolls is a very underrated dark fantasy, and Song of the Sea is similarly beautiful. Kaguya is an adaptation of the classic Japanese legend of Princess Kaguya, animated in this beautiful style that's reminiscent of hand-drawn sketchwork. It's at times abstract and at other times just enchanting and fluid and beautiful. It's fantastic. This film is one of those movies where you can take a frame of it and just put it on your wall and just, that's it, isolated from the rest of the movie. It's just beautiful, every shot. But I also think, and this might be controversial, that Princess Kaguya did not deserve to win the Academy Award. I know. Listen to me out. Hear me out. The award in 2014 should have gone to either the Lego Movie or How to Train Your Dragon 2. Yes, Kaguya's animation is beautiful and breathtaking, but so is the Lego Movies. They are both achievements in very different forms of animation, both of which excel at what they're trying to accomplish. But then there's How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is just an incredible movie with a fantastic narrative. These are all at the top of their game. Really, anything but Big Hero 6 deserved to win.
Despite the struggles and the, downside to the situations that she's experiencing, there's so much love, and I think everything stems from that. She is where she is over the summer because she's cared about and she's loved.
When Marnie Was There is another Studio Ghibli film not made by Miyazaki. This was made by Hiromasa Yonibayashi, who made The Secret World of Arrietty as well. And again, it's also based on a British novel. It was the studio's final film before they took an extended hiatus between this and...
No! Don't make me remember that! I wanted to forget those things!
I feel this has to be one of Studio Ghibli's most underrated films. It's a little slow at times, and Anna's depression-induced antisocial behavior can wear on some viewers, but the last 20 minutes have to be some of the most emotionally raw cinema I've ever seen come out of Studio Ghibli. In 2015, when it was up for the Academy Award, there was some stiff competition.
Shaun the Sheep movie. Anomalisa. Boy in the World. When Marnie Was There. Inside Out. And the Oscar goes to Inside Out.
Inside Out ultimately won the Academy Award, and it is genuinely a great film. I do think, honestly, that Inside Out deserved to win this year. I love When Marnie Was There. It's such a beautiful film, but I get it. It is a little slow-paced. It does meander a little bit. When it gets to its point, it is powerful, but I think that Inside Out packs more of a consistent punch and is a little more relatable. But I do think it's interesting how both films focus so heavily on the emotional state of a young girl and end with some supremely sad imagery. Also, the music for When Marnie Was There has to be some of the best in Studio Ghibli. It's fantastic.
And whatever we can't hear through the verbal language, we can easily express in the film with the body language, the acting of the characters, and the film language, of course.
2016, well, this is the ish I was referring to. This film is sort of an anime film. The Red Turtle is an international production between Studio Ghibli and the French companies Wild Bunch and Belvision. And it is odd. There's no dialogue in this entire film. Instead, they choose to tell the story of this shipwrecked man who meets a red turtle and has kids with it, purely through visuals and music. It is one of the last films Isao Takahata worked on prior to his death. If you haven't seen this film, and honestly, considering how it's often left out of Studio Ghibli's lists of films, I think it's understandable if you missed this one, you should watch it. It is beautiful, and maybe at times a little boring. I think the lack of dialogue really works against this film at times. Like, yes, it is beautiful, but you have to be paying attention to every second to follow it. It is a simple story, but it's one that does move surprisingly quickly, and it is short, so if you're not paying attention, you will miss out. And it is very abstract, and it is very surreal, and it doesn't really hold your hand so much as show you this mystical, magical, unusual experience.
Are the nominees for Best Animated Feature Film: Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, Zootopia.
And the Oscar goes to Zootopia.
But The Red Turtle also lost to Zootopia. And look, Zootopia is a good film. It tells a story that's more accessible to its audiences. And while its exploration of racism is shallow, it also brought us that cursed abortion comic, so that's something. That's something. But even if Zootopia wasn't nominated, there's no chance The Red Turtle would have won. Not against Moana, Kubo and the Two Strings, or 2016, The Red Turtle shouldn't have even been nominated for this list because there were two films that came out that were way more deserving of the Best Animated Feature Oscar. Your Name and A Silent Voice. Just think about that. The Red Turtle was up for an Oscar, but not Your Name or A Silent Voice. Doesn't that seem kind of bizarre to you? Now, no anime film was nominated in 2017, not even Marrying the Witch's Flower, a film made by the director of When Marnie Was There. But then again, 2017 had Coco come out, so nothing stood a chance against that. But that leaves us to the first anime film that had no involvement with Studio Ghibli, which is a first. And so far, the only time it's happened.
お兄ちゃん、未来からやってきた妹の未来ちゃんでした。
I'm honestly kind of surprised Mirai got nominated at all. This film is a surreal exploration of one young child dealing with feeling abandoned by his family when his sister is born. But Kun, the young protagonist, discovers a magical garden through which he can travel to and from different periods of time, encountering his loved ones at different stages of their lives. It's a film that focuses more on emotional through lines instead of necessarily a conflict-driven plot. It's a little abstract, but also very logical based on its own internal fairy tale logic. But critics praised the film when it came out, though some critics also were sick and tired of watching a young, temperamental child as a protagonist. Seriously, Kun can throw a fit. I also feel like I should point out that this is the same year that I Want to Eat Your Pancreas came out, which I feel is a lot better than this movie, but that's my opinion. I don't know if it's universal. Mirai didn't have a ton of competition this year, though, so at least among his fellow nominees.
Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
So, there's Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is pretty bad, The Incredibles 2, which is alright, and Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs, which, while really good, has kind of fallen into obscurity over time. So I don't really think I get why it lost. Oh, that's right!
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, that came out this year. Right. Yeah, no, Mirai deserved to lose. Mirai doesn't stand a chance to Spider-Verse. There's no comparison. Now, this is the second gap in which no anime was nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. It would be another 4 years before another anime film was nominated, that being this year's The Boy and the Heron. So which films got snubbed? Weathering with You, A Whisker Away, Josie the Tiger and the Fish, Belle, multiple Sailor Moon movies. Okay, you get the point. So now we're at the current nominee, The Boy and the Heron. It's already won multiple awards, including the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature. Is it going to win this year? Well, there's a chance. I want it to win. I think of all the films nominated this year, it's the best. But a part of me dreads that Elemental, the film least deserving of winning the award, is going to take the prize. And don't get me wrong, there are other films that deserve to win too. I can think of 3. The Boy and the Heron, Nimona, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think all 3 are fantastic, and I can easily see either of them winning. And Robot Dreams I hear is really good, but I haven't seen yet, so I can't comment on that. The problem, though, are the Academy voters. If audiences invested in animation were to vote on this award, The Boy and the Heron would probably win by a landslide. But the problem is, the voters of the Academy Awards are simply not animation enthusiasts. They're anyone in the Academy, most of which don't have an appreciation for animation of any variety. The Academy Award has historically voted for Disney and Disney-owned studios, Pixar in particular. Pixar has been nominated 18 times and has won 11 times. Walt Disney Studios has won 4 awards. Now, if you do the math, that means in about the last 25 years, 15 of the awards went to Disney. That leaves a measly 10 left. Or rather, 9, because the 10th possible award that Disney doesn't win is this year. The Academy Award voters tend to vote only for the brands they recognize, rather than truly the best animated film of the year. I mean, think about it. Paprika, A Silent Voice, and Your Name didn't get any recognition from the Academy. I believe The Boy and the Heron deserves to win. I really do, but I have little confidence in it actually happening. But I so want to be wrong about this. I want this part of the video to age like milk. Please, I would love to be wrong. But a part of me can't help but think, yeah, Elemental is going to beat every other film that deserves the award 1,000 times more. And the reason I believe that is because Big Hero 6 beat out everything else.
Animation is cinema. Animation is not a genre. And animation is ready to be taken to the next step. We are all ready for it. Please help us. Keep animation in the conversation.